But first, is it OK to snoop on your partner? 1 in 3 people check their loved one's text messages on the sly. But is that acceptable in a loving, trusting relationship? According to the survey, women are more likely to check their partner's messages than men, with 4 out of 10 girls sneaking a look whilst their fella is in the same room. 3/4 of people who check their partner's mobile phones, 3/4 find something they wish they hadn't. Does that justify snooping? 10% of snoops ended a relationship. Well, yesterday, The Independent told how it's harder than ever to have an affair because of the digital footprint that you leave behind. You can even buy software that will record everything your partner does on your home computer. But if you've got nothing to hide, then you've got nothing to fear. Is it OK? Let's start with Sean Williamson. Do you think it's OK to sneakily check text messages of a partner?
It's just a technical age, and we've probably got what we deserve, and everyone's got a computer, a mobile phone. You go out probably yourself, you're a face on telly, everyone's like, nah, with their phone at you. It's just the way it is now, you know, and you're not going to be able to turn it back now. That's the way it is. Regarding the text messages, you know, sometimes in a text, because you lose all vocal intonation, it can take on a slightly different shade sometimes, can't it?
Yeah, it can, yes, it can.
Without sort of flavours of language. But I think we've got what you know, we deserve.
You get a lot of people coming into your face, taking, can I have a picture, can I have a picture?
You know, and fair play, it's a bit of fun, but so the difference is now, because of phones, everyone's got a camera on them. Yeah. And there's loads of cameras up in the air, and there's, as you say, it's a...
I was out in Leicester Square recently, and there was a guy with his 2 young daughters, and he sort of pointed to his camera, and he went, "Photo?" And I went, "Sure." And I put my arms around his 2 daughters, and he went, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, you want a photo?" He said, "No, can you take the photo?" It wasn't funny, it was absolutely mortifying. He was going to call the police. Anyway, Yasmin, what do you make of this? Do you think, have you ever done anything like this?
No, I wish I had. I'm not a snooper. If I'd been cleverer, I might not have been taken for the fool I was by my ex-husband. But I can't do it, I must say, I can't do it. I would find it kind of demeans me. So I've never done it. But, you know, hey, it's harder to have an affair. Oh, my heart bleeds for these poor people. Oh, you know, I think...
Times are tough for philanderers, Yasmin.
Don't have affairs. But I think sometimes I wish I was a better snoop, because, you know, it's one of the worst things is to know that you were taken for a fool, taken for a ride. That's almost worse than anything else. Yeah. And snooping would have stopped that, but I didn't.
Yeah, OK. Matt?
No, I don't sort of feel the need to sort of have a look at my wife's text messages or whatever.
You're a happily married man.
There's this weird thing that happens, though, isn't it? If your phone's on the side and it sort of, you know, dings or whatever, then the siren goes off and everyone sort of goes, "Ooh, it's a text message." So you go in and everyone's like, "Well, who is it? What is it?" You know, it's got, you know, so you...
I've done that without actually... I don't think it's the same as snooping, but sometimes, you know, my wife's phone will buzz, I think, oh, let's see who that is. But I think that's an innocent thing. Sorry, Yasmin, you're saying you wish you had snooped. You're actually saying you should have done it.
Yeah, but I can't do it. It's not in my temperament.
But you should have done it.
Yes, because I think to be taken for a fool for 5 years by a very clever man to whom I was once married, and I never once looked in his receipts or never checked the things I should have checked.
So during those 5, I don't want to go too much into your personal story, but during those 5 years, you think you would have found evidence
that
he was cheating on you, and he was doing this for 5 years, and it was there. Did you, at any point...
I've never looked at his receipts, never looked at the bills, you know, and I should have done, really should have done.
Were you suspicious at all during that 5, apart from the very end? No. So you had no reason?
No, no, of course not. If you marry or you love somebody, you trust them. Otherwise, you can't live with someone if you don't trust them. That's the problem. That's what you're courting.
So are you saying if you get to the point where you need to have a look at somebody's text messages, then already your relationship is flawed or too flawed?
Well, but I wouldn't criticise. There are lots of women who've hired private investigators. You know, the business is really booming because a lot of women are hiring them because they're suspicious, and often for the right reasons. Yeah. The reason men don't do it as often as women is because men are usually the philanderers, let's face it. But I don't think I could do it. Okay. I think it would kill the relationship straight away.
All right, let's go to Pollyanna. Let's take some calls on this. Pollyanna, what you got?
We've got Leanne from Bethnal Green. She's on line 1.
OK. Leanne, hello there. Good morning.
Hiya.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
OK, now tell me, is it OK to snoop on a partner? Have you done it or had it done to you?
I do it all the time. I read my partner's text messages all the time, and he's always got flirtatious messages on there, but he just lets me read them anyway. So, he lets me read them, but I don't, because he lets me read them, I don't think there's anything wrong with them.
Well, no, I mean, that is different if they're open. It's not snooping if he's inviting you to have a look. Do you ever have a look at the text messages when he's not around and he's left his phone on the side?
Yes.
Do you ever do it without his permission?
Yes, and I also go into the draft messages because that's where you catch them out.
Little tips, Leanne, I like this. Any other particular tips we want to share with us on snooping?
I go into the received calls, dialed calls and everything. But he has loads of girlfriends and I've had loads of arguments. They've all got kisses on them, the text messages. Some of them are really flirtatious. And he gets text messages where they're asking him down to their mum's house in Cornwall.
What? Why don't you leave him?
Because I know he comes home every night and he's always with me and the kids, like when he's not at work, and it's fine, but we have had big arguments over it, but I do trust him.
Yeah. All right, Yasmin. No, they've got children, Yasmin. Leave her
Yeah, but
alone.
you don't trust him, which is why you look at the text.
But listen,
Well, maybe, but if he leaves his phone around for me basically to look at it, and he looks at my phone as well.
OK.
But I don't get my male friends texting me the way he does.
Well, if we've learnt nothing else from today's show, it's that if you are going to snoop, check the draft messages. Yeah, that's the key tip. Thank you very much indeed. There's Leanne, and we have to leave that there. I'm afraid I didn't get the person in the audience. Apologies. Oh, you really want to... Oh, well, come on, give me the comment quickly. Who have you got, Eric?
Oh, this is Jade, so there you go, Jade. What do you think?
I was going to say, I think it's awful. I don't think anyone should go through anyone else's messages or anything like that, because if you're in a relationship, there should be trust, and no trust, no relationship.
All right, thank you. Nice counterbalance to the caller.
I do believe we've got one more call actually from the last section. We've got Tracy, who's actually on line 3.
OK. Pollyanna, just before we go on, we got one call. So we were talking, as you may recall, just before the break, about whether or not it's acceptable to snoop on your partner. And there's a call we did want to put on, and so we're just going to take that now. Pollyanna, who is it?
It's actually Tracy on line 3.
OK, Tracy, good morning to you.
Good morning to you all.
Hello, Tracy. Tell us your story.
Well, mine happened by accident with me snooping on my partner. It happened because he left his mobile at my house and went to work. So the night before, I spoke to him, and it was quite late, and he said, oh, he's got a call waiting for him with his mum.
Yeah.
And I said, OK, fine. So I thought, well, let me phone his mum, leave the phone there so I can speak to him in the evening. But the last call wasn't his mum. It was a lady's name. So from then, I started looking at the phone and started looking at the texts and realised that all the time he kept saying he's call waiting for his mum. It wasn't. It was another woman.
Yeah. Sorry, just be clear. He said he was going to see his mum. Are you saying he disguised the woman he's having the affair with?
Yes.
He disguised her name in his phone book as Mum?
Yes.
OK. And so then you thought, well, I'm going to speak to his mum. So this may be the flaw in his thinking. You there because presumably you know her, and so then you make the call and this other lady answers. Is that right, Tracy?
Exactly. Yes, definitely.
OK. And how did it resolve itself? Where did it go from there?
Well, I started forwarding texts to my phone, and then when I just got all of the rigmarole and my mum and going to see my mum and all the mums, I presented my telephone and said, this is an extra chip, and this is all the text messages that you've received and you've been sending to your other woman.
Yeah. OK.
So he thought I was very clever, and then we just ended.
And then you ended. It's over.
Yeah.
OK.
Yeah.
All right, Tracy. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that with us. That seems like the right thing. And I think that's quite common as well. I'm not trying to give people tips here, but that people will disguise if they're having an affair, they change the name to a friend or a relative or something like that. But in the case of using your mum, that just seemed a little stupid and naive. Tracy, anyway, thank you.